Como se dice, I wish I hadn't read these books. We need more negativity on this channel, I think. No, but I want to be talking to you about some books that I read in 2025 that low-key wish I probably hadn't read or maybe dropped whilst reading them. So these books, I'll give you the justification as to why I didn't enjoy them or why I wanted to drop them, but I'm a completionist. I very rarely, if ever, don't finish a book I start reading, even if I'm hating it. So let's start off strong with anime. This was the first book I read in 2025. It is a critical analysis and history of the anime industry. I think I bought this book many years ago when I was in film school, and I was like, oh cool, I am interested in anime, maybe I could do something, you know, doing script writing for anime and stuff, and reading through this book. Never got around to reading it, only did 1 year of film school because I couldn't afford the full 3 years, but I read the book finally in 2025, and God, it was a slog. But not in the case that it was a bad book, but that it was very academic, and I hadn't assumed it would be so academic, because all the other books I'd read about anime, like Miyazaki World, which is all about Hayao Miyazaki, they weren't academic reads. So with this one, it was very academic, it was very thorough, it was very well sourced. So if you're someone who maybe is in film school or is doing film analysis, film theory, a media university course, maybe this would be more suited to you than it was to me. So I wouldn't say don't read this because it's bad. I would say don't read this if you just want like a cursory knowledge about anime, you know, kind of like a pop history type book. Maybe something else would be better. Maybe something like a Miyazaki World or something along those lines will probably serve you better. I just think this book, no go if you just want some like light history about a format of media that you really enjoy. Up next is the Islamophobia industry, and now this is a difficult one for me to say because the contents of the book is actually very important and very interesting and very underreported on. However, I think for me personally, reading the entire book wasn't necessary because I knew a lot of the information in it. I think I perceived this book to actually be far deeper than it actually was. This book maybe is a better introduction into learning about the far right and Islamophobia, particularly in the UK and Europe. But for someone like myself who knows a bit more about that, this book wasn't very helpful and it didn't actually give me the information I wanted. So if you are someone who completely is new to trying to understand Islamophobia and the far right in the UK, then this book is more useful for you than it was for me. But for me personally, it just wasn't. It didn't have the depth of knowledge that I really wanted to be able to expand my understanding and knowledge of the issue that Muslims like myself face in the UK, and you know, kind of the targeted attacks against us. Like I said, it is a good introduction and is a good way of getting to understand the problem. Unfortunately, it's not deep enough to go to that next level in terms of trying to understand and spread the message about what's going on and how we can prevent it. Okay, so I thought I was going to be talking about 5 books, but I didn't have 5 books that I didn't want to finish in 2025. I'll go into that later. But the final read is The Lives of Others. This was, I think, the second book I read in 2025. And Jesus, I don't like this book. A lot of people like it. It is award-winning. There is, when you go, like when I was doing research for my video I made on this book, and I think I wrote an article on my website about it, or a blog post on my website, which you can find here. People really like this book. They think it's deep, they think it's great. I don't. And maybe it's because I am South Asian diaspora, maybe it's because I am left-wing. I don't know. I just couldn't really get into it. I felt like used shock factor a lot. I felt like it lent into stereotypes a little bit, and I felt like it wasn't as revolutionary or critical of the upper class than many people felt it was. Perhaps that's just my interpretation of it. Maybe it's because I was soured on the book literally in like the first half and I had to push to get through to the second half. So I don't know. Personally, it's a long book as well. It's at least 500 to 600 pages as a hardback. So it is a very long book, and I genuinely, I think this was the only book I read last year where I was like, I don't think I'm going to finish this. And I think the only reason I finished it was halfway through, I was I'm just going to whack this on an audiobook, play it in like 2.5 times speed, and I read and listen to audiobooks at the same time sometimes, so I was doing that because I read quite fast. But I couldn't get into it. I don't, because I've had, like, this book has a story to me acquiring it. It was my final year of school, and my English teacher was also leaving. I had 2 English teachers. One of them was leaving, and so they decided, I'm going to give everyone in the class a book. There was only like 10 of us maybe, and because I'd written my essays about post-colonialism, colonialism and that stuff at the time, and also because I'm brown, I think, the teacher gave me this book. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet and lovely. And it has been about 10 years since I left school. And so I thought, oh, I might as well get around to reading this book. But unfortunately, I didn't like the book. And I don't even think 18-year-old me would like it either. Like, there's circumstances where there were books I read when I was 18 that I really liked, and I reread it and I'm like, this is horrible, I hate it, Murakami, basically. But this one was just like, I wouldn't have liked this at any point of time, which is sad, but that kind of happens. But again, yeah, it was one of the books I wish I hadn't finished, but I did. And I think of the 3, it's the one I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I finished this book. What the hell? Those were 3 books I wish I hadn't finished in 2025. There's 2 other books I'd like to mention, but I did finish them. I don't regret reading them, but there are things about them. So Red Queen, I read last year. I read this for a certain reason, and although it wasn't for me, it wasn't the kind of book that I like reading anymore. I kind of get why people like it. Even the twist in that got me. So I get why people like it, and it isn't one where I'd be like, don't read this book. It just, I am not the demographic for the book. And the other one is The Sailor Who Fell from Grace with the Sea, which you can find this video on my channel where basically I initially read it. I was like, oh, this is a scathing critique of fascism. And then people were like, no, this book is by a fascist, and he genuinely believes in the fascism in the book. And I was like, well, shit. So then I made another video where I apologized and kind of outlined the importance of looking into the authors you're reading, especially if they're unknown authors to you. So those are the 2 honorable mentions. I mean, I don't regret reading the Mishima book. I regret having paid money for it. I wish I'd maybe gotten it for free, or I don't know, secondhand or something. But yeah, what are you gonna do? But those are 3 books I wish I hadn't finished in 2025. Let me know in the comments down below if there are any books that you wish you hadn't finished, or maybe you are someone who is happy to DNF or not complete books or not force yourself through a book like I do. Something I'm trying to change, but I doubt that's gonna happen. So, before I leave you, I want to say a special thank you to my members. Members get special access to bonus videos, they get access to the book club, the movie club, they get to help me shape these videos, they get to give feedback on the channel. You can join as a member from as little as £1 a month by hitting the join button down below or on my channel. If not, thank you for watching, I really appreciate it. Remember to hit that like button, that subscribe button, and share the video with a family member. And hey, I hope you read some books today and this year that you don't want to DNF. I got a haircut today and it's not giving what I want it to give, you know? It's not giving.